Hey guys, welcome back, and it has been a week. Let me tell you, there has been so much going on the internet regarding MrBeast and Ava Chris Tyson and Shadman and all these names of people who, before this entire controversy, I hadn't even heard of before. There were a lot of these people involved in this ongoing saga, this nightmarish catastrophe of, the interwebs parts of it that I'd never heard of before, and it's a lot to take in. So the long and the short of it, the Reader's Digest version, for those of you who understand that reference, is that essentially MrBeast was aware of the situation, the allegations against Chris Tyson, because he was proven to be present in Chris Tyson's Discord server, which is very alarming in my personal opinion. Look, I get it. There's plenty of people who try to pass things off as, oh, it was a joke, it was just edgy humor, none of us took it seriously. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, because when you have minors involved, and you have people who are in a position of authority over them, and you have people who are sharing adult material with children and everything else, it doesn't matter what you think you're joking about or what you think edgy humor is or isn't okay. The law supersedes all of those inside jokes that you have. So it doesn't matter that you think, oh, me talking about the size of my member and MrBeast chiming in that he knows that it's bigger than, that you guys think it is. It doesn't matter that you think that that's innocent. The reality is that is criminal behavior. Absolutely degenerate, disgusting behavior. So, of course, they've tried to cover for him. There's been a lot of this calling people transphobic for going after Chris Tyson, despite the fact that essentially now there's no question this was a real deal, real thing happened. He was being a complete pervert, disgusting degenerate. MrBeast had to have been aware of it. So again, a lot of pressure is being put on him, especially with new allegations of him faking his YouTube videos. And again, I am not here to prove or debunk whether or not he is or is not faking his videos. That's not the subject of this topic. The reality is, though, that there is a large set of issues presented before MrBeast here, and honestly, he's brought on himself at this point. I don't even feel sorry for the guy. So that being said, something else that's been unearthed of this entire thing, maybe unintentionally, is the involvement of other transgender individuals, such as Finster, who is somebody that has been associated with Chris Tyson, as well as somebody who goes by the name of Soda Cat, I believe, and they are an adult star, and they're a complete freaking degenerate, also an alleged groomer. And then, of course, Keffals. Keffals, who has been a very interesting person on the internet for the last few years. Now, I wrote this up on my website. I'm going to link it down below. Keffals came out today, unrelated, I'm going to say air quotes, unrelated to Chris Tyson being, accused of grooming, and decided that Keffals is done. He's going to retire. He's going to quit. He has no more use for live streaming. It's just too stressful. And so in this article I write, controversial transgender Twitch streamer Clara Sorrenti, aka Keffals, is allegedly calling it quits after direct messages from another content creator, Xanderhal, again, somebody who I had never heard of before, were leaked onto the internet by his editor. In these messages, Xanderhal went on an unhinged rant about how much he hated Keffals, going into the disturbing details of how he fantasized about ending Keffals' life. And this person here, who I believe is probably a fan of Keffals, or I assume loosely connected to this entire situation, says, we tried to take the high road with Xanderhal, but today he explicitly lied about the abuse he knows happened in December. So in this thread, this Xanderhal guy has lost his mind at his editor Cherry because the guy screwed up the account his money's supposed to go into, and now he's screaming at him, or at her, sorry, I have no idea if this is a biological male or female he's talking to, about how he's going to end up homeless and how he has to go back to live with his mom in California and he can't even afford a plane ticket, and it's just this completely unhinged breakdown, saying he's now in hot water with Brianna, assuming that's Brianna Wu from Gamergate 1. Again, these people all somehow run in the same circles, and it's just fascinating to watch. His editor Cherry saying, you didn't pay me last month, why would I think you'd even pay me this month? It's absolutely crazy. He tells Cherry, well, I'm not Keffals. Cherry says, you talk about wanting people to die a lot. Xander says, well, a lot of people need to die to be fair. And then the next thread here, he continues to berate Cherry. And then he goes on to issue threats about Keffals. Says, I hate them all, Cherry. I want them all to stop living. I would end Keffals in a heartbeat. I would even use a weapon. I'd bludgeon her with it. Cherry says you're not in a good mental state. Xander's like, oh, I'll end her. What's her address? This person's completely insane. And this reminds me of when we saw Destiny come out a few years ago and had that video that leaked from, I think it was a live stream he did, talking about how he was on the verge of actually going to somebody's house and ending their life. It's like, these people are unwell people. They are not right in the head. So, of course, after this, we see that Keffals is, talking about this Cherry person, and what's weird is the fact that Cherry apparently used to be their editor.
As well.
Keffals' editor.
Like, I hope Cherry is well, Like, she's a really nice person. I've had some good times with her when she was still... But no, what I was saying, I had a lot of good times with her when she was still my editor, but she doesn't seem to be very happy in this space at all,
I find that ironic because Keffals looks miserable, and to be honest, most of these people, there are the statistics that are not on their side. They do not seem happy at all.
Like, the fact that she knew about all this, and she took all these screenshots, and she just kind of held on to them until just now to release them, is very weird,
And so, of course, Keffals goes on to say that, he hopes that Cherry is fine, and he's never had a problem with Cherry, but he finds this whole thing very strange. But again, this person, Provolone Cheese, says Keffals coping about Cherry saving the Xanderhal messages and not speaking about it sooner. This is a massive cope since Cherry also leaked various messages proving Keffals didn't spend the GoFundMe money on the lawsuit and is also a doxer. Now, again, we'll get to that in a second, but you can see this screenshot here where Clara Sorrenti, Keffals, says, if anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe money, I am definitely getting canceled, okay? And then Keffals goes on here talking to Cherry about how he has somebody's address. So, very weird, very strange behavior indeed. I went on to write, this has prompted Keffals to lock his account on Twitter X after announcing that he would be done live streaming due to the toll it has taken on his mental state. Keffals has also said that he still suffers from PTSD due to being swatted back in 2022. It's worth mentioning that he was caught lying numerous times about the visit he received from the police department, and that's something that he has doubled down on in the past, changed his story on, that they barged into his door with guns drawn, put a rifle, an AR-15, I think Keffals said, in his face. None of it ever happened. So then he tried raising money for a lawsuit against the officers, and then no charges were actually filed against them, and they were cleared of any wrongdoing. So, of course, now today we have Keffals, after this whole leak from these DMs from this guy Xanderhal, Keffals has said, it's been a good run. I laughed with you all. I cried with you all. We raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity, which is very interesting for Keffals to say. Thank you all for the memories and for giving me a platform to help others. It's time for me to move on with my life until we meet again. Live streaming destroyed my mental health. I live with PTSD from it, constantly afraid of swatting attempts, constant panic attacks, and dealing with people even in leftist spaces like Xanderhal who fantasized about violently beating me to death. I can't do this anymore. I have friends, loved ones, a social life, and I am thriving in my life offline. Don't feel bad for me. Leaving everything behind was a really difficult decision, but one I ultimately made because I love myself and want to experience a life that is worth living. How touching. Keffals is not without blame for much of the online backlash that he received. He notoriously raised over $100,000 for relocating expenses via a GoFundMe in the wake of the swatting. And you can see the GoFundMe right here that Keffals got $101,348 Canadian dollars for. Supposedly, this was for Keffals to afford being able to move, being able to set up a new streaming location and a new little setup, right? And of course, once it was discovered that he actually used some of this money for his cocaine addiction, or allegedly, it was not looking too good for Keffals. To make matters worse, he's been very vocal about his desire to trans people's children and has even enabled minors to create DIY HRT if their parents won't consent to them receiving hormone replacement therapy. And of course, we have the screenshots of his tweets right here from this account, Right Wing War Elephant, saying, the scum of the earth might call me a groomer for it, but if a minor approaches me and asks me how to transition, I will point them to resources to help them do it. I'm going to transgender your children. Try to stop me, bitch. Okay? That was a real tweet. I am proud to announce that I am sponsoring the DIY HRT directory. Healthcare is a human right and no one should be denied gender-affirming care because anti-trans extremists in office deny trans people their rights. This directory has saved lives and will continue to in the future. When I was covering it on a stream, a teenager from Texas in chat said when the ban on people under 18 receiving a gender-affirming care happened, he used this directory to continue medical transition. This is the path forward to help kids affected by these laws. Again, illegal behavior by Keffals. And of course, we've seen, Chris Tyson has had allegations against him because of his Discord server, people saying that he's done things physically in person with them, other people being associated with Chris Tyson, like this Finster person being canceled. But what I look at with the whole Keffals situation is Keffals and Chris Tyson, as far as I could tell, weren't exactly close. But what there is a similarity in these two people is the fact that Keffals has had a long history, disgusting history online of his Catboy Ranch Discord server, allegedly having minors participating in there with adults. And, very much the same situation as Chris Tyson, where all of a sudden every DM, every screenshot from his Snapchat account, everything is leaked online. Keffals might be looking at this as the writing on the wall, as his time to get out. Again, this is somebody who grifted $100,000 from a GoFundMe after he got swatted, then spent it on cocaine and God knows what else, has done all sorts of horrible things involving, trying to give people's children hormone replacement therapy that they can make themselves in their bathtub. And now, right around the same time that Chris Tyson, is in hot water, Keffals decides to pull the plug on live streaming permanently. Supposedly permanently. It could be, 6 months and Keffals will be back. Who knows? But share your thoughts down below. I think this timing is extremely suspicious. I'm not even joking. I think this is very much writing is on the wall. I am not going to be shocked if in a week or two we start seeing screenshots and DMs coming out of Keffals' old Discord server and hearing about all the sordid things that happen behind the scenes. But I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Share your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about all this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.